Greetings and salutations, guys. Eric here with my review slash recap slash what the hell reaction to episode 5 of Agatha All Along. I didn't know for sure I was going to do this video. I had said after I did my review of the first 4 episodes, I was sure I would check back in at some point, but this episode, a lot happened in those last few minutes, and it elicited a reaction, so here you're going to get that reaction. So this was full spoilers, by the way, to follow for this episode, which was called Darkest Hour / Wake Thy Power. Episode 5 of Agatha All Along. One more spoiler warning. Okay, let's go. Wow, on those last few minutes, so much happened. So many reveals on top of each other, and there was like 3 points when I thought the episode was going to cut to credits, but it didn't. So let's go through them all. Alice is dead, and she was killed by Agatha. And Billy is pretty much revealed as the identity of Teen, something that we kind of all knew going into the show, but here they pretty much said it. They actually didn't say the name Billy out loud, but come on, they gave us all the signs. But Agatha really had this big heel turn in this episode, which is a surprise, but then so did Billy, maybe at the end. I mean, a lot happened in those last few minutes. One thing on top of each other, like I said. I really loved how that all played out too. I thought that Alice, the way she was killed was it was a great surprise that shouldn't have been a surprise, because they set up in the first episode, and maybe it was the second episode, but they set up so much this whole thing about if anyone used their powers, the fact that Agatha could take their powers if they were used on her, and how that was a big warning. But because she is the main character, even though we know she's a bad guy, I think there's certain expectations for how this is going to play out. And look, there's still a few more episodes of the show. She could get that redemption arc, but halfway through to have her straight up kill one of the other main characters is pretty bold. And even after Mrs. Hart / Sharon died, I still kept thinking, okay, I have a feeling that a bunch of these women are going to die. It felt like after that's might be how it plays out as we go through the rest of the series, but I did not expect, again, for Agatha halfway through to just straight up kill one of the other ones. Maybe that would be a final episode thing if they wanted to kind of cement her as a bad guy. But yeah, and there was that little back and forth about, oh, maybe she couldn't control herself. Maybe it was something instinctual, something that she had no power over. But then she has that great moment with Billy when he's confronting her and she's acting all hurt and distraught. But then that smile comes on her face, and it feels like, oh, no, she knows exactly what she's doing. Catherine Hahn, kudos to her, because she's such a great comedic actress, but to show that sort of evil side come out so suddenly, and that they could make the episode make this turn into very ominous in these last few minutes, that was so great. It was so well done. But of course, it wasn't just that. It wasn't just the like evil smile. It was the reveal about you sound just like your mother, and the huge implications of that and what that meant. Again, could have ended the episode on that, Alice's death, and then this huge implication of Billy, and the fact that Agatha knows, which is another reveal, that she has already figured out who his mother is. But then we get this big thing where Agatha is just grabbed, and Lilia and Jennifer grab her and toss her into, I'm going to call it quicksand. I don't know if it was quicksand, but she's pulled down into the ground. And again, she's not dead. There's 4 more episodes left of a show with her name in the title, but that would have been a great cut to credits too, right? Oh crap. She's done this horrible thing, and of course they're going to turn on her and actually straight up going to kill her, except then Billy, he doesn't save Agatha as far as we see. He just decides he's going to send them down into the ground as well. What the hell? Like, what is his agenda? What is he trying to accomplish is a huge new question here. But then you get the reveal of the Scarlet Witch crown on his head. Great way to end the episode. Super exciting. Great song choice with Billie Eilish and You Should See Me in the Crown. I'm probably one of the few people who could say I was introduced to that song via the NXT, I think it was Brooklyn.
Bite my tongue, bite my time.
One of the NXT takeovers a few years ago used You Should See Me in a Crown as its sort of theme song in the lead up. And I thought, that's an awesome song. And that's how I was introduced to Billie Eilish. Anyway, now it's been used on Agatha All Along as well. And excellent sort of just way to go out on an episode that I think just delivers so much in those last few minutes. One thing being a reveal that we've all kind of been waiting for the whole time as far as who Teen really is, and the fact that we kind of all figured it's Billy / Wiccan. his superhero identity from the comics. They lean heavily into that by putting him in the headband in this episode. But then it's not like that's the one thing. It's like, okay, cool, we got this confirmation. It's how it happens in the middle of such a chaotic few minutes with a big character death, and the fact that our main character is sort of, I don't know if you want to say solidified. You can't say heel turn. I think I might have said that earlier, but that's not quite right when we kind of already knew she was a bad guy. But it's nice to get a show that remembers that about, the whole thing with an anti-hero and how much do you want to play that and how much you can lean into the fact that, hey, this person can do awful things. And so to have this in the halfway point of this series, I thought was a really great choice. So we just don't feel like they've watered down Agatha completely. Look, she probably will do some good things too before the end of the series, I'm guessing. But this reminds you of what she's capable of on the bad side. They can say that she's killed people all they want, but we have to kind of see her do it in the course of this show to remind you that, yeah, that is also who she is. It's worth noting that Rio is nowhere to be seen in the last few minutes when they all leave the last trial. Where is she? We don't see her come outside, I don't believe, at all. So I'm guessing she's going to be a pretty big part of saving Agatha and maybe the other two as well when the next episode opens. But yeah, her agenda remains a little more elusive. If you have seen the spoilers out there involving her character that were unfortunately put out by a toy reveal from Funko, I've seen them too, but I'm not going to say them here because it's crappy. It sucks that they're out there. I wish stuff like that wouldn't happen. It is out there, but I'm not going to talk about it, just to say that I do think where this episode ended with her, or her lack thereof, because we actually didn't see her, is interesting to note. Going through some of the other stuff about the episode, look, there was some very clunky exposition at the top as they're kind of recounting Agatha's story. That happens. I really liked the Salem 7 depiction here. We got more of a look at them. They were very creepy. The crawling on fours was really great. Hey, right after Wolverine did the same running at Deadpool in Deadpool and Wolverine. That's like the new thing in the MCU. But it works really well to show a person behaving that animalistically. The broom riding, I thought, was amusing. I did like the touch that they have to do a spell in tandem with another witch and then kind of gift each other the broom. I just thought that was a fun little twist on our typical way of showing a witch kind of earn their broom. Here it has got to be the sort of partnership. The possessed Agatha, I thought, was, fun, but it was kind of done very quickly. The real importance of the possession, of course, is how it ends. And the whole fact that Alice steps up to save her and turns out to be the worst decision of her life because it's the final decision of her life when that happens. And Agatha instantly, that's the great thing, is like she frees Agatha of the possession by her mother, but the second that the spirit of her mother is out of Agatha, Agatha's like, oh, boom, I'm going to grab your powers from you. And again, how much is that just something instinctual? How much is that like calculated? Maybe it's a combination of both, but it was damn effective. Alice as a character, I didn't care deeply for. The episode before was her trial, so we got to know her the best in that episode, but I don't think we really got to know her on any deep level to be like, oh no, not Alice. But it does just obviously raise the stakes as far as this group. And it was one thing to kill Sharon, which was sad because she was like the sweet lady, but if she never belonged there, she was not a witch. Now one of the witches have been killed by the woman who's gathered them and kept claiming she was going to help them. So it still raises the stakes, even if you don't have a huge emotional investment in that death at this moment. And then, yeah, I enjoyed the 80s looks of it all. Again, this was the episode. It was the shortest episode. That's the funny thing. So much happened in the last few minutes, yet it was the shortest episode so far. So it felt like we were really doing a speed run through the trial this time. And this time it was an 80s look. And look, that's always going to be fun. For Agatha, it was kind of a throwback to WandaVision's 80s episode with how she appeared there. With Billy, I keep saying his name is Billy, even though they've not said that name on screen in this show, but come on. He got to again evoke the comic book version of Wiccan and basically this is not supposed to be a huge shock, him alone, because they were pointing at it over and over and over again. Everyone involved in the show obviously knew we'd be guessing who he was the second the show began. Nicholas Scratch's name, that was interesting. It was what kind of broke the hold that Agatha had on Alice. Again, though, a nice surprise that it didn't save Alice. Billy gets this teen gets this moment to kind of step up and figure out how to help Alice, but it's not quick enough. And I liked that there was no out for it. He was trying to figure out, is there an out, but there was no out. Alice was dead. And yeah, that again, it's funny that this was such a short episode on one hand, but then those last few minutes were so stacked. And I think Agatha All Along has been a really fun show. I think the first maybe third of this episode shows that sometimes it's not great at the tonal shifts. I love a show that can combine a lot of different sort of feelings to it, and this one wants to be kind of campy comedy on one hand, but then genuine horror, but then have some dramatic heft. And kind of the, platonic ideal for this is Buffy, a show that could do amazing shifts in tone as far as like, this is silly, we're just having fun, and then, oh my God, this is the most sad, upsetting thing I've ever seen happen. I don't think this show is at that level yet as far as when they're doing those shifts. And, some of the comedy is, I think, can be a little cheesy. It's supposed to be campy, but sometimes it's like, that's not really working. But it's still fun. And then the fact that they can kind of pull the rug out from under you like they did in the last few minutes was really impressed by that. So that was all my thoughts so far on episode 5. Probably watch it again later and see if I come up with new stuff. But I'm not promising yet I'm going to do every episode for the remainder of the season. I happen to be home watching this right when it debuted, and then it was just like really exciting. So I jumped on camera to talk about it. But I might. There's a good chance I will. All right, guys, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this episode and where we're going with this, especially because this is just the halfway point. That's what I think is really cool, that they could have so much happen at the halfway point, have it be a meaningful midway point episode, that's for sure. If you can like and subscribe if you have not, that would be wonderful. Thanks. See you next time.